Let's start right away by clearing up the misunderstanding. OGS88 don't just make electro, they do in fact make techno bass. At least that's how Keith Tucker and Tommy Hamilton define their music, which they claim is a mixture of techno and Miami bass. Since 1993, the two Detroit-based artists have released their musical creations on labels such as 430 West, Direct Beat, and Submerge. Science fiction and science play a central role for them, something that dates back to their childhood interests. These influences can be heard from their dark, futuristic choice of sounds. And thus, what could lie closer to the mad scientists than taking a dive down into the darkness of the Berlin Underground?
From early on, me and Tom have always been kids that were into sci-fi movies and all that, you know, comic books and everything. So this is just an extension of our childhood. We're able to come up with these ideals from listening to Parliament Funkadelic and Kraftwerk and groups like that, and finally, you know, doing what we want to do. We can tell a story now, not only through our music, now even visually. Now we do visuals. Now we have more concept-driven artwork for our albums and everything that we're more in control of. Early on when we first started, we didn't have a lot of control of that. We were pretty much following what the Detroit machine was, how everybody did everything to stay underground. We were never a group that really wanted to be not seen. We wanted people to know what we look like because we always were pushing the whole live performance thing.
We describe our sound as techno bass, which is a fusion of techno, Detroit techno, and Miami bass sounds. We confuse those two together. A lot of people classify us as electro because the electro style is so large right now. I mean, they're calling some of everything electro. So we really classify ourselves as techno bass.
Glitch that we have is funk, but it's polished funk song, electro funk song. There's an ending, there's a beginning, there's a chorus, you know what I mean? And it's just more polished. It's not a track. To me, a track is something that's not polished. It's just something that you play. A song is something that's polished that has a beginning, middle, and end.
The future, the greater most thoughts in my mind. I see space vessels and the greater most plots in my mind. I still see space, satellites. I see space, satellites.
There's no set formula that we use to create our music in the studio. We may come up with a bass line and build everything around that bass line, or we may come up with a drum beat and build, you know, around the drum beat. We may even come up with vocals first, lay the vocals down, and then build a whole song around that. There's really no set formula.
I see lights in the greater most thoughts in my mind. I hear voices in the greater most thoughts in my mind. I still see space, satellites. I see space, satellites.
We've been doing live performances back in '87. That's when we really got together. '88 is when we formed OGS88, but we were doing cover tunes, live performances. We were actually playing bass lines and string lines through the whole show. We didn't have a sequencer back then when we started. Only thing that was playing in the loop was the drum machine. All the other like tech lines and bass line, we were playing live for like a whole hour. I mean, every song, the whole show was actually, you know, we're playing, you know, no sequences or anything. And today we had to kind of go down to sequencing, you know, with 2 people on the stage. We can't possibly play all the parts. So we're using laptops and MIDI controllers. We do play live still. You know, we play string lines on top, tech lines, live vocals, recorder, you know, effects on the voice, and the whole 9 yards.
Berlin, when you play your music, how do you play it?
Concepts for us is very important, and that's coming from the techno background. You know, growing up listening to, not growing up, but I'll say, listening to early Derek May, concept-driven, Cybertron, you know, Kevin Saunderson, and, you know, coming from Detroit, it's just the industrial, you can go outside and hear, you know, boom, ping, you know, it's just inspirational, you know, so our concepts was always more of an intelligent style techno. That it really irks me now with a lot of people coming out of Detroit as well as other countries. The music is not intelligent techno. When I say intelligent techno, I mean a concept. You know, we have a concept, there's nothing silly about it. I don't think you would listen to our records and laugh. You know what I mean? It's kind of gotten away from that. And a lot of these other groups, they just throw stuff around. We never do that. We take it very serious. When we make a song, that's what it's about. If we say it's my AUX mind, it's us talking about our AUX minds. Programming music, you know, we're a well-oiled machine working together. Mad scientists, we got voice modulation. It's about Tom talking about voice modulation, how his voice went through the machines and was modulated. It's just a concept. And we love it. We've always stuck with it. It's just an extension of our childhood, which is being able to do all those things we always wanted to do, telling a story.
This new function mode Mad Scientist has been set to a temporary mode in Earth time.
We are the scientists, combined with minds.
What we try to do is do a lot of vocal tracks because that's what people remember. Vocals, melodies, words, you know. Just doing a track, I mean, you know, you can't go to the record store and say, yeah, I want to get that song that goes like this, do, 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 do. The person may know what you're talking about, but 9 times out of 10, they may not. With vocals, you can always go to the store and say, hey, I heard this song on the radio and it was talking about playing it loud. Oh yeah, we have that. That's Aux 88, play it loud, you know. Or, yeah, it's a song that be, you know, it's breathe to say, or, you know, something about driving direct or direct drive. Oh yeah, that's direct drive. You know, when you have vocals, people can remember that. And it lasts longer too. Somebody can play your song 10 years down the road and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that song, instead of it being just a track of music.
While sitting in my lab, making brand new beats, vocal modulate, translate to the streets. Returning from the future with beats hardcore. Synthesizer scientists, synthesize the dance floor.
Everything that's new is old, everything old is new. It's always been like that, but there's just a few who are cutting edge, who who really believe in it, like I think we do. We believe in what we do and keep it real. It's like, you know, you have ghetto tech is very popular in Detroit. You can't say anything negative about ghetto tech. It's, you know, it can be some things that they say that's vulgar or maybe silly, but you can't deny the funk of the music. That's the style. That's what ghetto tech is. It's just an extension of the Two Live Crew. With us, we're just an extension of Kraftwerk and Cybertron, or Egyptian Lover and the X-Men, you know, from LA. Then we just started as we, you know, over the years, we started listening to Herbert. We started listening to DJ Hale, you know. We always listened to Richie Hawtin years ago, you know, that type of stuff. And that infusion has led us to grab something from everybody. That's what I really like about techno and what we're doing now. We grab something from everybody. It opened our minds to a lot of different styles of music.
We're constantly trying to find new sounds. Me and Keith are like really hard on programming sounds. It's not that we find them, we try to create them. You know, we try to stay a step of the game. We try to stay in front, you know, be from the future, you know, create a new sound. And a lot of times, the old flavor it plays a part because that's instilled in you. You know, if you've been doing your music in the same kind of formula for so long, it's hard to just break totally away from that sound, you know. We have a very strong background in hip-hop, R&B, you know, the classical playing, you know, a lot of that come across in our new music.
People say we have a dark edge to our music. It's dark, but not dark in the sense of killing someone. It's dark in the sense of what space is. Space is cold and dark. Kraftwerk was, I think a lot of people in Detroit can identify with Kraftwerk because it's cold and hard and it's just regimented, straight. It's like right in your face, grittiness of the bass, that type of stuff. We thrive on that. When we make music, the bass line is the #1 most important thing in the music. Then strings is kind of secondary, which kind of adds more of it adds the melody, which is more of a classical music style for us. But we've never thought of it as being dark where it's in a negativity type way, like a negative way in darkness. No, it's just funk. When you listen to Parliament Funkadelic, it's not. It's just soul, you know what I mean? We make electronic funk. That's what that's the best way I can describe it. And for us, it's still like that to this day. When we make a song, we're supposed to be able to walk away from that song 2 hours later, come and hit start, boom, and it's supposed to make you want to move. It's one of the greatest styles of music in the world. I just think that because you can make a song and 10, 15 years later, someone plays it, it's still hot.